Hi, everyone. Welcome to Arthritis at Home. I am Cheryl Koehn. I'm the president of Arthritis Consumer Experts, and it's such an honor, a privilege, a pleasure to be in the studio today with Dr. Terry Lynn Fox. Welcome, Dr. Fox.
Okay.
Let me tell the audience something about you, if you will allow me to brag about you and to give people some idea of your background. If you're just joining us for the first time at Arthritis at Home, you'll be, I think, really interested to learn about Dr. Terry Lynn Fox's background. Dr. Fox is from the Blood tribe within the Blackfoot Confederacy and practices her Siksikaitsitapi ways. Dr. Fox has a bachelor's degree in psychology, a master's degree in sociology, and a doctoral degree in education. Her dissertation focuses on Indian residential schools and the specific perspectives of Blackfoot Confederacy people on the experience of survivors from the Blackfoot Confederacy from 6 residential schools on Blackfoot Confederacy land. And most of her research is on and about Indian residential schools. She is the daughter of 2 survivors of an Indian residential school and is a survivor of Indian day schools herself. She lives with rheumatoid arthritis. She is our organizational spirit, our guide, our mentor in the work that we've been doing on truth and reconciliation. And we're so honored to have you here in the studio with us. So welcome. There you go, audience. You know a little bit more about Dr. Fox.
Well, good morning, everyone. Okay. Nistiokok Abi Kwek Modaki. That's my Blackfoot name. It means miracle healing woman. My English name is Terry Lynn Fox. And yes, I do have a PhD. So some people call me Dr. Fox, and it's quite an honor for me to be here today to share our shared knowledge since we've been moving forward on our path towards truth and reconciliation with Arthritis at Home and Arthritis Consumer Experts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Fox. So today is a very exciting day for you, for me, for our whole team at Arthritis Consumer Experts. But importantly, for something that formed about 2 years ago called the Arthritis Community Learning Circle. This is where our community, anyone in arthritis, whether they're an organizational leader, whether they're an organization itself, a person living with arthritis, anyone who would like to be a part of the Arthritis Community Learning Circle can be. This is sort of the culmination today of one specific, very important project that we've had ongoing, and that is the launch of the Arthritis Call to Action website. And that's what we're going to talk about with you today, ask you a couple of questions, and then give people a tour of the site so that they know what it offers them in their learning and relearning journey. So as many of our Arthritis at Home audience knows, you have been working with us as our key Indigenous advisor, scholar on Indian residential schools, to help us walk the path towards truth and reconciliation. As you first told me when we first met, it's not your job to reconcile, it's ours. And that's what we've been doing, and we are so grateful to you and thankful to you for helping us do that. We hope without leaning too heavily on you. I kind of feel like you're those the guideposts on the road that keep us moving in the right direction. So as an advisor to us, can you share with our audience what our process for walking the path has been? And I kind of mean our, meaning not just me, but our team at Arthritis Consumer Experts and the Arthritis Community Learning Circle as a whole.
Sure. So I think what has transpired from the early stages of our, I'm going to say, getting to know each other, because really that's where relationships start, is getting to know each other. who we are as individuals, where we come from, and really creating that respectful space for you, Cheryl, and your team, and them also getting to know me and what I might be able to offer ACE and the team, and how we move forward on this journey together. So really, I think it was those early stages that somewhat set the stage for us and the path to come together with truth, to reconcile, and how we're going to learn from each other, how we're going to grow together as a team, and how I can utilize my background as a daughter of two survivors, of a survivor of the day school, as well as, accomplishing, much needed knowledge in Western academia.
Yeah,
really meshing both, together to bring us to where we're at today. And I think it's really these valuable tidbits along the way that has pushed us forward in a good way, in a gentle way, and the way that's working for us. A change doesn't happen overnight, and we must respect that process, as a team, as individuals, and kind of take a moment to reflect on where we want to go, what have we done already, and what else we want to do together.
Yeah, it's easy to sit back and go, okay, we've, been there, done that. And that's not what this process is. This is, as you've pointed out many times to us, a lifelong journey. It would be miraculous if reconciliation were complete in our lifetime, but likely it won't be. It takes so many efforts, so much change at a human level to address the wrongs of 140 plus years of genocide, of racism, of land theft, of you name it. And we're grateful for your patience. And I say this not just to you, Dr. Fox, but to all Indigenous peoples who've shown non-Indigenous peoples on this land incredible patience, incredible resilience as they wait for us to step up and to reconcile. When you think about what we've been doing with others in the arthritis community, within the Arthritis Community Learning Circle, tell us how you found that yourself as an Indigenous leader, an Indigenous scholar. How have you found, we know that diabetes community has done this work, cancer is doing this work, heart and stroke, arthritis, I wouldn't say late to the game, but had to organize, had to get to that honest, true, transparent, open place to begin to walk. How are you finding that? How does that make you feel as an Indigenous woman living with rheumatoid arthritis, to see her community walking?
Mm-hmm. It's honoring, and it's a respectful process, a meaningful process. Again, as you mentioned, we're not late to the game. However, I don't think arthritis and the many forms of arthritis has been at the forefront, such as cancer or heart disease or stroke. But in the last, I'm going to say couple of decades, more research, more awareness, those speaking out, those being self-advocates are coming forward and recognizing that arthritis, it's really about understanding self and how this may or may not come about, whether we're predisposed, whether it is trauma and stress or everything. The more we are aware, the more we become empowered. Self-empowerment, organizational empowerment, systems empowerment, and it's good for everyone. And I think we're really opening these doorways. We're paving a path that, you know, we're walking steadily, but surely we're walking and in honor of this, the truth and reconciliation. We're talking about it, we're actioning it, and we're respecting that process. And I think that's, for me personally, professionally, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it's palpable. Like I can feel that in you too, as we do our work every day together. And you know, what's really fantastic, needs more to be done, but that's the number of trained professionals, health professionals in healthcare who are Indigenous. You know, I'm thinking of Dr. Cheryl Barnaby, who's a colleague of yours. You've done research together with her and others in the country, and really taking an Indigenous lens, using Indigenous ethics, as you've taught us, as an integral part of doing that research in Indigenous peoples and with Indigenous peoples with arthritis, I think is so important. What if we could wave a magic wand over 6 million Canadians living with arthritis to take reconciliations? Talk to us about that potential.
Well, I think firstly, it's this education that's creating awareness. It's sharing knowledge that is sent out in a respectful manner, and also for, you know, those 6 million Canadians to being open to learning more about who they are, where they come from, and their own role in their health and their well-being. I think the work that we are doing is, we've scratched, you know, the surface, and there's much to be done, and we will get to each, you know, stage when we're ready to get to each stage in a respectful manner. I think also the presentations, the seminars, the retreat, the real learning from an Indigenous person, both living with arthritis as well as academically inclined to sharing this knowledge in a, you know, in a manner such that someone's empowered, someone's confident, someone values that this knowledge needs to be shared in a good way, but in a firm way. I think oftentimes our humility is misconstrued as not confident. I think, though, the sacred teachings of many Indigenous peoples, our humility is part of our respect. However, our voices will be shared firmly and when needed. And I think across, you know, Canada, since the 2015, you know, dissemination of the 94 calls to action, you know, to all Canadians to take a step forward, to learn about, to read about it, to get involved, to action it at all levels. That's really important. The work that we're doing, Cheryl, with individuals that want to make a difference, with the, you know, the website we're going to launch, with our own personal work that we're doing, making a difference in our own life, in our families' lives, the people that are within our most intimate circles, their lives in general. You know, we're better forward for it, and it's exciting to see. It's you know, I'm not too sure the word I can describe is joy. It's honoring, it's getting excited for what's to come, and knowing what we've done, that hard work and our process has been meaningful. We've been moving forward at a steady pace, and so I'm very thankful an honor to work with your team. And, you know, who knows what else we're going to, you know, concoct in our amazing minds.
It's gonna be exciting, it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be meaningful. I do know that, whatever it is we next dream up.
Yes.
I think you've offered us a brilliant step forward now to introduce the website, Dr. Fox. So I'm going to call up the site, and I'm going to call on you to take us on a mini tour before we let our audience take a look for themselves. So, ta-da! Here it is, the Arthritis Call to Action website, a new resource launching today for the arthritis community, for the public living with arthritis or interested in arthritis, or frankly, anyone on the planet who wants to learn more about truth and reconciliation and the views of Indigenous peoples. And I'm going to just be quiet there and let Dr. Fox take it away and give us a tour.
Thank you, Cheryl. It's amazing to see this launch. We've worked long, hard, and, you know, shared stories of the artists drawing, the interpretation, the cleansing as healing is truly fitting, I think, with the arthritis community and arthritis in general. Gamutan means reconciliation, to forgive, to overcome, to reconcile, to survive. And truly the artwork, the artist's mindset, visualization is truly brought forward in this artwork. And as our Mother Earth heals and gives us life to all animals, all plants, the water, the air, so too we must learn from that and be advocates of healing in so many ways.
I'll just scroll down here so that people can see Dr. Fox's an intro video here that describes, you know, what the website is, how it can be used, to obviously share our land acknowledgement, and talking specifically about why we are doing the work that we are doing with you. If we go to the next tab.
So, you know, I think in any setting, whether it's, you know, traditional teepee or Indigenous dwelling where you learned your history, your language, the connections, the ceremonies, we must learn from our shared past, and we must understand those colonial underpinnings of the health and well-being of Indigenous people today. So it is important to talk about colonization on Turtle Island and how that has affected Indigenous people's health in general.
Yeah, to Indigenous health.
Yeah. I think the colors, the short factual information we're talking about here, coming from Indigenous leaders and authors and researchers. Again, when we become educated, when we are open to new knowledge, we empower ourselves. We give ourselves that permission to learn more, to understand, to be open to new teachings that will help us on our own healing journey. And so the color schema, the artist's, you know, work is truly fitting when we want to talk about arthritis and Indigenous health and well-being.
I love, you know, particularly the call to action number 22, which does charge healthcare providers in our space, Dr. Fox, with, you know, providing culturally safe care, with understanding and approaching Indigenous health with cultural humility. These are really guiding principles, I think, for healthcare provider community in arthritis. And so I just wanted to thank you very much for helping us focus this area of the website on that particular call to action. When we think about the calls to action specific to health, we of course turn to 18 to 24. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about this.
So these calls to action, they somewhat generally talk about how we may change elements of our healthcare system in a good way from an Indigenous lens and treating Indigenous patients, clients across Canada. So it's a real systems approach. It's a huge endeavor. However, when we take the onus and one by one, we take the action, we put it forward, we advocate, we lobby for real change to occur in a meaningful way for Indigenous people, Indigenous recipients, whether it's healthcare or education. We want to ensure that we make all levels of government aware and accountable for the ills that Indigenous people feel and face each and every day. So it's a real firm foot forward for all Canadians to take part. And this call to action number 24, really talking about this worldwide, this national, international awareness of Indigenous people's rights. They were in place pre-colonization, pre-contact. So these practices are long withstanding and have worked. So now we're creating that effort and that the push forward to ensure that we practice health rights as treaty rights, as the international law states, as the United Nations Declaration on Indigenous Peoples' Aboriginal rights, treaty rights, inherent rights, land-based healing rights, ceremonial rights, to what that looks like. So what we're doing, Cheryl, with this website is we're really igniting, this movement forward, and I'm looking forward to see what next year, what it looks like, where we're at. And for this, it's not about checking off, what have we done, with the 94 calls to action. It's how have we changed? What are we doing? What have I done personally, professionally? How can I help create this change for the betterment of not just my professional duty, but also for my personal recognition and movement forward with all Canadians, all people. It's for all Canadians to truth and reconciliation as part of our shared history. And I think we've only just begun, Cheryl. I think we've only just begun.
I would agree with that. Every day I think about how has my heart changed since I began my own walk with you and with other Indigenous peoples. And the change has been, for me, unbelievable. It's given a completely new meaning to my own life, to open my heart and not just make space, but in many ways be governed by the needs of Indigenous peoples, the need to reconcile. That has changed my life significantly for the better. And that's a great segue to touch on the Arthritis Community Learning Circle. Who is it? How did it found? What does it do? Maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
So since I've started working with Cheryl and ACE and providing sessions on awareness of Indigenous people, you know, and sometimes specifically Siksikaitsitapi people and ways of knowing, being, and doing. You know, it's become apparent that we need to continue more seminars, more sessions, more retreats to help people ignite their own soul healing. Colonization didn't just affect Indigenous people, it affected everyone. And so how do we come away from that? So we're all on this healing journey together. But I think for the intimate circles we've been a part of, I've been a part of, and sharing and providing knowledge and awareness and just personal experience and narratives, how we can continue working together, walking together on this path towards truth and reconciliation. We might not ever end, you know, in this walk, but we're gonna steadily, you know, walk it, moving forward. And, you know, I think we're gonna continually say, walk with me on this journey. We don't know where it's gonna go. We didn't know how it was going to, you know, transpire when we started 2 years ago, last year, this year, but it's, you know, it's exciting. It just feeds your soul with, you know, we're moving forward and we want to create change, and it's scary. It's uncomfortable at times, and that's fine. Change happens in that soil of uncertainty. We will, you know, reap the benefits when we see changes in the healthcare system, when we see changes in how meaningful our relationships are, how long lasting they are, and how healthy our children are moving forward.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's so important to understand that there is right and wrong when we talk about truth and reconciliation, clearly. But every person's journey is going to be very individual. We know in the community writ large, the arthritis community, as we've been talking, there's 6 million people. Some are on the path. Some have been walking on the path for many years. Others are just starting. The Arthritis Community Learning Circle journey these are some of the things that we've done together with you on our own. And we're hoping that people who come to the site, Dr. Fox, take advantage of some of the lessons learned already, and get involved in the conversation. What can happen next? What does the future hold for the arthritis community as it walks on the path with you and others? There are ways to get involved. Obviously, you can email us and tell us your thoughts about the website here. Becoming a part of the Arthritis Community Learning Circle just means walking with us. It's not, it takes no effort apart from taking action, taking part in some of the learning activities, and then people continuing or starting on their own journey. We talked about how important it was that the vision for our work be Indigenous, come from Indigenous peoples. And you helped us identify a incredible Indigenous woman, young woman, Courtney Alexander Fox, who I feel has just been such an important part of the walk for us. It's her artwork that guides us in what we're doing. You'll find here the artist statement on Gamutan, cleansing is healing. It's so inspirational. It's so foundational to what we're doing in the Arthritis Community Learning Circle. And I just want to thank you, Dr. Fox, for introducing us to her and actually to just follow along her career path and see her work blossoming in an entirely new way. And I think that's what it embodies, reconciliation, I think. And we're just so fortunate to have met her and to be working with her on this journey. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today in studio. It's been a little bit longer episode, but I think very, very needed to launch the website, Arthritis Call to Action. It's been a fantastic learning experience. It's been so joyful and also gut-wrenching at the same time, as probably most things in life are, but in particular about truth and reconciliation and our walk with you and other Indigenous leaders and advisors. We can't thank you enough, Dr. Fox, for all that you are, all that you've done, all that you will do, and me scurrying along after you, and all of us learning from you and working with you in respectful, culturally appropriate ways. So we just want to thank you again for being with us today, and for all that we're doing to walk together on the path forward.
It's truly been a pleasure. I'm humbled, and at the same time, I'm walking my path, right?
Sure.
Those that want to create change in their life, personal, professional, you name it. If I am called, then it's part of my purpose to share what I know. The elders always remind me, knowledge is to be shared. When those call upon you, you humbly accept and you walk forward. The voices of our ancestors are always with us. Inherently, we know that the knowledge, we know the ways, we know how to move forward. And so it's really been an honor, Cheryl, moving forward with you and your team. And I just look forward to what else are we going to do?
Exactly. Thank you again. And thanks again to our audience at Arthritis at Home, on behalf of the Arthritis Community Learning Circle, partners, participants, and Dr. Fox, we thank you very much for joining us today.